So first things first, gentlemen, how are you?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. It's another misty day in Belfast, but no complaints. It's all good.
And now, Johnny, you have a Northern Irish background, so you grew up with Celtic music, Celtic folk punk. Mike, for you, how did you get introduced to this type of music?
Yeah, my family's from Ireland.
Okay.
Being American, I think, or at least being from Boston, we're all Irish Italian.
Mm.
It's a very common mix. So the Irish definitely made its way in, and I still have family out there, so I'm very connected, with my Irish side.
Okay, because I was talking to Johnny just now about I have a slight Irish roots as well, and it's kind of inevitable that you grow up with that type of music around you. Then, so for both of you, was it the Dubliners? Yeah, Dropkick Murphys at some point. What did you grow up on?
I guess for us, for myself, it was yeah, Dubliners are always there, and anyone else really, like any of the kind of Irish bands doing the classics were always there on record or whatever. But my dad was also quite into like rock and roll as well too, so there was always that. Being from Belfast, it was always Stiff Little Fingers, so there was that punk rock kind of thing in there. But it was always there, and mum and dad would always have friends and family over, so it'd be put on at some point in the night as a kid. So it's kind of like you're trying to go to sleep over there, and they're like drunk and listening to Irish music, So it was, like I said, it's always there. But yeah, so it was, with that kind of Celtic and folk music there as well. But like I said, my dad was really into rock and roll as well, and
Okay.
so there was always that. But you grow up and you kind of grow out of it, like what's all that kind of boring old people music, and you start listening to punk rock and anything that's a bit more aggressive, I guess. And then you kind of realize that old folky stuff that you kind of grew out of is actually pretty rad. So you're kind of like, I remember that. Yeah, that was pretty good. But and then you kind of realize that the Pogues made it pretty badass as well. So it was a perfect mix.
And was it so? Did you know early on that you wanted to be part of that kind of community or create that yourself?
No, not really. Before Rumjacks, I was in a rockabilly band,
Okay.
I kind of like, it wasn't at a young age or like, yeah, I'm going to start like this, Irish folk band and we'll play it really fast and stuff like that. I guess it was, like I said, when I learned to reappreciate the music, of course, like I listened to it still while listening to like good punk rock music and, hardcore and all that kind of stuff. But it was never like my mission to
Okay.
start a band like that from a childhood. It was just, from my childhood, it was just like loving punk music and everything. Punk had those little veins. People started doing like ska punk, and then they started doing all this version of punk and all that. And then when kind of Celtic punk kind of came to the front, I was like, oh, it's pretty cool as well too, And then yes, you think back about all that boring stuff your parents were singing at 1:00 in the morning, and like I said, bands like the Pogues made it pretty, I guess, approachable in that sense.
I had been trying to start Celtic punk bands since I was a teenager.
Okay.
It's impossible. It was impossible as a teenager because I played in the hardcore and like punk and ska scenes, and no one was playing Celtic punk. But I've been starting bands to try to do this type of stuff forever.
Well, one thing that I personally like about kind of Celtic music is the storytelling. So what was it that you were attracted to in that type of music, the both of you?
Well, Mike, you write songs, so you take the lead on that one.
Yeah, so for me, about Celtic music specifically, it was that what kicked me off was my grandmother. She had written the lyrics to Fields of Athenry just on her refrigerator. It was like just on a sticky pad. So I just grew up with that always just being around. And I think it was through that I kind of really got into like kind of the rebel side of the music. And then I don't know. I just kind of, I don't know. There was a form of, I guess, a rebellious spirit to the music that I also felt with punk rock. And I was like, hey, this is like old folk music, but they're saying the same stuff that we're saying, you know, in 2000 whatever. So to me, I immediately drew a connection between punk and Irish music.
And I think it's clear from kind of maybe I'm jumping ahead because it's let me put it this way, kind of there's an international appeal to the music, I would say. I mean, you have a connection with Greece that I want to talk about a little bit later, but that there, especially with folk music, it seems that it's very universal, the themes and kind of the spirit of that music. Would you agree?
I would agree with that, in that as well, like you said, on like not as a deep level, but like in the storytelling and whatnot. Like there's songs from, you know, having a party and drinking and, you know, life and love and happiness to like some of them, like the most depressing songs you'll hear. Like, and some of the, like most of them are always done with incredible melodies and, you know, they're quite catchy. And I don't know. So, you know, everyone likes that, you know, like there's nothing non-relatable to like life and love and happiness to, you know, sadness and sorrow, like from one end to the other, you know, it's all relatable. So of course, when it comes to storytelling of that, I think Irish and folk music did it very, very well. And then, yeah, I do think like punk rockers did it as well too. Like they got their message across, whatever that message was, fantastically as well. So they both complement each other like that. But yeah, I do think folk music and that storytelling side is quite broad. So it does appeal. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, this is a nice and diddly Irish song. It's like you can listen to a song and appreciate it for what it is. And I think Irish folk and whatnot, folk music in general, it does that pretty well. So I guess that's why it's universally pretty well loved.
And one thing I find as well is that the live element of this type of music is very important, maybe more important than some other styles of music. And then especially now that it has been taken away, what have you realized about how important playing live is to you guys?
I guess it's a hard one, because on a personal level, like it's really hard because we just got so used to doing it all the time. Like it became something we were very used to and really enjoyed. So obviously when someone takes that away, it's horrible. Like we miss it terribly, like all of us do. It's so much a part of what you do, like I said, on a personal level, that it's very strange. It's a really odd feeling to have something so familiar, something that brings us so much joy, stopped. And quite abruptly too, you know.
Right.
So on a personal level, it sucks, you know. It's
What I would like to say is when we all come back, I think everyone's gotten used to this kind of home living. So when the world gets back to playing live, I think we should do everything 2 hours earlier in the day, because everyone's going to bed early now. So I don't think we want to stay out as late anymore.
You're going to bed late, early. I'm going to bed
I'm just kidding.
4 a.m. I don't even have a body clock anymore.
Imagine if the world came together and decided to have shows 2 hours earlier.
Yeah, the world decided on an agreed bedtime.
Well,
The Italians
would be healthy
hate that.
for the
The Italians and the
world.
Spanish would hate it.
Would not
They do everything late.
No, I'm with you, Johnny. In these days I have no structure whatsoever. It's
None at all. I went to bed at 5 a.m. last night, but well, it's not like I'm going to be tired for work today. But it is what it is, you know. So,
yeah, it's a strange time. But
yeah, it is.
So with that in mind, is it even stranger to be releasing an album then in this time?
It's the only thing I'd say is strange about it is that normally you release an album, singles and whatnot, and you tour off the back of it. So that's the strangest part. But it has been interesting this way, well, because we have no choice, like we can't tour it. It has been interesting to see the reactions and the kind of impact on releasing this stuff without touring. It's been fantastic so far. Everyone's been super good about it and really taken on the new stuff and given amazing feedback. So it kind of gives you a moment to step back a bit. But also when we were recording it, it gave us time to think and work our asses off for it as well too, in the mindset that we're probably not going to be able to get in a tour van and you know, do the typical thing and play every night of the week for a year or something like that. So yeah, we knew that it would change, but we had to change with that as well too. And I think we have. And you've got to stay busy as a band no matter what. And we can't stay busy sitting in a tour van at the moment. So you stay busy in other means. You release music, you record music, you write music, you release videos, you release singles, you do what you can, Right. And I think we're doing that. So a lot of bands are stopping. It's weird. Like, there's like I said, there's not a whole lot to do these days, but so do what you can. But a lot of bands are just stopping. It's I find it very peculiar, but it's up to them.
With what you just mentioned, kind of having a good reception to what's come out so far, has that been a little bit more important perhaps for this record because of kind of the changes that the band went through in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's a super important release, we knew we wanted to do a record, and with the changes in the band, we're like, right, we really wanted to do it in general, no matter what. Sure. Get a new record out and keep going. That's always the plan. And yeah, with the addition of Mike, we were like, it was an excitement. We were like, right, it's time to show everyone else now what we know. It's like we had this this news, this exciting thing we knew about, and it was time to share with everyone else. And yeah, like we knew people, like some people are going to like receive things differently, but like I said, to be honest with you, the large majority has been fantastic. Like people really have enjoyed it, and it's been genuine too, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like we don't ever expect everyone to love our music every single day of the year, no matter what change. You can't expect everyone to like the band. That's stupid. But we knew this was an important release for sure. And none of us are nervous about it because we're really proud of it.
I was nervous.
I was gonna ask Mike. What was it like for you, kind of coming on board? And I don't know where in the album process you were when Mike came in, but what was there? Did you feel some pressure, Mike?
So from the start, I said, "All right, you know what? I'm not going to compare. I can't compare my writing to Frankie's writing. His writing was really good. He has 20 years on me. Like, it's not worth it comparing. It's just bad, mental energy to spend on that. That doesn't mean that I'm not. It doesn't mean that I'm always. I mean, I don't care at all what people think. But at the same time, there is definitely a worry where there are a lot of people that are going to listen to and hear this. So it definitely had a little bit of pressure. But I think that's only natural. Just coming into replacing a singer of a band. It's a big change.
Sure. People are scared of change in many ways. Also with bands, people have their attachments to people or things. People get pissed off when someone in a band cuts their hair or something. It's weird. Like
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Like,
for some reason.
And that's fine. Like it's not a problem. Like if people find attachment to a band in any way, it's totally fine. Like
it means that people are connected with the music, and that is incredible.
That's
because
cool.
of that. There's a lot of responsibility in honoring that music.
Yeah, exactly. I think we did, and Mike joining as well has been nothing but positive. So I think that's coming across with the music and how we're going about things and whatnot. And yeah, like I said, people and always have their opinion. It doesn't matter what changes happen to a band, like go for it. But we're really proud of what we did. We're super, super happy. And I think it starts there and then kind of filters out when the music filters out. And as it has, it's been really received amazingly. So super happy.
How did the addition of Mike change that? Well, obviously you have a different dynamic. How did that influence the album, you think?
I would say for the album to be influenced, we had to be influenced dynamically, like you said as well too. Mike joining for the previous Rumjacks members, the other four, it made the process of Hestia so much more enjoyable.
Okay.
We've said it before in a few other interviews, and I don't want to overkill it, but it is true that there was a lot more positivity. It made what we were doing so much more enjoyable. And the fact that we kind of remembered that we really love doing this made the whole process enjoyable. Did someone put the record on and hear that? Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, they sound happier. I don't know. Maybe not. But for us, the process was so much more enjoyable that I think it's going to come across in the songs, in that the quality, how we played, just our attitude towards the whole thing. So Mike, in my opinion, like being here and him joining, influenced the other four of us in that sense and brought something new, not different, not like a whole different sound or something from another planet, brought a new element to the band we didn't have before. So that, I do think, made the process of Hestia much more enjoyable, and I believe in how it sounded.
I've just finished Stephen Fry's third book on Greek mythology, Troy. When did the notion of Hestia come up?
Mike, glad you joined us.
I'm curious how you'd answer that, though.
Me?
Yeah.
We named it because it sounded cool. I'm joking. No.
Okay, well, so the song itself, Hestia, it's kind of just a folktale style song about almost like an alternative Little Red Riding Hood type story, where this girl lives in the woods by herself. She gets harassed by this wolf for years until eventually the wolf kicks down her door. She blasts him with a shotgun. So it's a song about a girl protecting herself, protecting her home, fighting back. And I thought it was only natural that the song be named after the goddess of the home and the hearth, as just a big symbol of, protecting what's yours. And I don't know, I didn't think too much about it, but we kind of found there's a million different ways people can interpret that. There's lots of layers of symbolism to it. So we just said, hey, this is badass. And then the album cover is the wolf with the Hestia symbol carved into his forehead. So, yeah.
Because I mentioned kind of the Greek connection earlier on, and there's a song as well as which is called Athens to the North, and you did a live album in Greece. Is there a specific connection to Greece?
I didn't even think about that. Well,
yeah, I didn't realize that as well too. I forgot about the line.
So that song was written in Belfast, and an old nickname for Belfast, it used to be called Athens of the North.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's an old one, and so I don't know. That was it.
But okay. I guess I get the connection. Like there's not like a deep, story I can tell you. The connection would be in that like Greece has always been really good to us in that sense. Like we've played there multiple times, and I think I still think today the two biggest club shows we've ever done have been in Greece. And I know we got like a really good like kind of friends and crew over there, and we do have a connection that we love going there. Like Thessaloniki as well too. Like we spend as much time as we can there. When we have days off, we always try to like make a gap where we can play Greece and then have like 4 days off, just because we like it there.
For recovery?
Call it recovery or damage as well. But no, look, we do love Greece. You know what I mean? I don't think that was an intentional thing, as in like it was like a deep. Because we did a live album there and whatnot. We did a live album there because we knew the show was going to be really big, and we had the opportunity to do that. So. And the crowds there are super fun. They're really lovely people, the Greeks.
I do speak Greek.
There's that also.
I taught myself Greek as a joke like 10 years ago, and it was a long inside joke with a friend. But because of that, I speak Greek.
That's a good way to learn new things.
Yeah, we wanted to surprise our friends by just busting it out one time. But I think all of us in the band have a love for Greece. Kind of unspoken, but now it's spoken.
All right. Well, getting back to the record then, because, Mike, were you the predominant lyric writer then on this album?
Yes.
let's pick out one song then. Is there one that sticks out for you? Well, no. Let me ask it differently, Johnny. Is there one piece of lyric that Mike wrote that you were impressed by?
Yeah, I think overall the song "Rhythm of a Name" for many reasons. Like, I think it's a beautiful song, but I think it's really strange when I personally, whether it's Rumjacks or wherever you hear lyrics, like, I guess it's a good question for songwriters that, like Mike touched on before, is people will interpret things however you want, or in a way that may relate to them, or they just take something as it is, and if it means something to them, then so be it. But one of the main lines in that song is, "I can't remember the rhythm of a name." Now, you don't really ever hear someone speaking about the rhythm of someone's name. Sure. You know, like what's the rhythm of someone's name? Again, like my interpretation of some rhythm of a name is weird. So like it's a small line. It may not even be like the most predominant, profound one in the song, but for me, I do like little lines like that. Like the Pogues had that line, "You're the measure of my dreams." Like, imagine someone was the comparative level of what all dreams are. Like that little line there is a massive one that stands out to me for like the Pogues. So I think that's what it is for me in Rhythm of a Name. Like, and I obviously know more about the song, like what it is about. So then when I learned that from Mike and he told me as well, it made a lot more sense. You know, I was like, wow, that's a powerful line, you know, like to have someone in your life and then to remember and to have that feeling of loss of the rhythm of someone's name, how you say it, how you hear it, how it comes across to you is, I think it's quite powerful. And that's how I took it, you know, like I said, Mike's lyrics, you hear them, and then that's how I heard them, and it was like, well, that sounds cool.
For you, Mike, was that one of the songs that stood out for you as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Out of all the songs I've ever written throughout my life, that's like my favorite.
Okay.
That's the one that I would say, like, okay, I'm finally like a songwriter. You know, that's the one that really kind of made me feel that I had like finally started doing it, you know.
What was there something specific that gave rise to that song for you?
I don't exactly know. It's tough to say how it comes up, but I mean the song, the short version is that the song is about a friend of mine that passed away in 2010, and we go way back. So back in like middle school, we used to like sneak out of school to smoke weed together, which is like the song has a lot of like this young teenage kind of like, I don't know, lifestyle. And then she carved her name into a stone of this house, and she's passed away. And now like that carving may be the last like proof of her existence on the earth other than people's memories.
Right.
And then her name is hidden in the song a bunch of times. So I don't know. It was there was just a lot of symbolism to it, and even just like the way, just rhythmically, like the song just rules.
Yeah, that one was one that stuck out for me. I really like Through These Iron Sights as well, which especially musically, for some reason, I don't know if this is correct, but it gave me, especially the intro, gave me somewhat of a Western vibe. Is that fair to say?
Spot on, sir. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Yep. That's a song that's a historical based one. But yeah, it's kind of about the yeah, I don't know if to give it away.
Well, you don't have to explain it, but just sonically, what kind of was the idea behind, especially that intro and the kind of how it sonically came out?
So the way it was written was actually on a classical guitar, very like finger picked. So it actually sounded way more like almost like a classical kind of song. And then as I started, I just put that rhythm to it, and I was like, oh wait, that sounds really cool if we root fifth. And then we're like, let's just build it into a Western kind of sound. And then the whole thing is just a slow build, and then to that break, and then it kicks in. I don't know.
Finally, I would like to talk about the song Motion, because it kind of fits with what you described earlier on, Johnny, kind of the fact that that the whole process was happier, that you didn't kind of sit in a corner and sulk, but that you kind of kept moving. And I suppose that's what motion is about. So where did that song come from?
It's a fun song, isn't it? It's super fun. Yeah, we had fun with that one. It was really cool. Mike could probably answer that one better, you know, but I just like the fact there's accordion on that one. That's I'm cheeky with that one. But yeah, like again, I don't think it's like a statement song in regards to going, oh, we got to keep going as a band or whatever. Like I don't think, you know, Mike can clarify that, but you know, so like, you know, let the people know this is what we're doing as a band. You got to keep going, but you do, like I said, you can't sit around and do nothing. Yeah, you're like, you got to stay relevant. Like people forget real quick, you know, like they really do. And now with the internet and shit, people just click to the next band. It's whatever. It's fun, disposable, if you will. But yeah, Mike can probably answer that better in regards to the meaning or whatever.
That was as simple. It was just a song to a friend, just of encouragement. Old friend of mine hit a rough patch, and it was like, hey, like, you know, you'll pull it together, you'll be fine, sort of thing.
All right, Johnny, Mike, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me. Hope you have a great day, both of you. And
thank you, man.
Best with the album. I really enjoyed it, so I hope a lot of other people will also.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.